On a fine sunny day, a man named Lee Abbott goes to a supermarket to buy oranges for his family. After paying the bill, he heads to a park where his wife Evelyn is watching their son Marcus playing baseball. Lee sits with his deaf daughter Regan and his friend Emmett, who is also there with his sons. As everyone is engrossed in the baseball game, suddenly a huge meteor appears in the sky, distracting everyone. Even Jeter would have a hard time hitting that one back. The game ends abruptly and people start heading home, but to their horror, giant alien-like creatures arrive and start causing chaos. Several people are instantly killed and eaten up. Lee, who is with Regan, tries to figure out what's happening and talks to a police officer, but at the same time, an alien attacks a car nearby. Terrified, he grabs his daughter, and they seek shelter in a store. Inside, they stay quiet with other scared people. Unfortunately, a girl's phone rings. Of course it does. And this attracts the alien. It swiftly enters the store and wreaks havoc. Lee and Regan somehow manage to escape through the back door, but the alien is hot on their heels. After a while, they reunite with Evelyn and the boys at a hiding spot. The alien gets close, but a brave police officer shoots at it. Unfortunately, the bullets are not enough to stop the creature from killing him. The movie then fast forwards to day 473 since the incident. This is the same scene after the end of part 1. At present, the Abbott family leaves their destroyed house with a newborn baby boy. Here, we get to know that Lee sacrificed himself to save Marcus and Regan from an alien. Bo, the youngest child, died on day 89 when his toy rocket made noise and attracted an alien. The family then begins walking along Lee's sand path, hoping they can find a better hideout. Evelyn is carrying the baby in a soundproof trunk with blankies, and an oxygen cylinder is connected to it. After walking for hours, they come across a wired fence with a small gap. Evelyn carefully passes through, but her bag gets stuck, making a slight noise. She looks back in concern and accidentally triggers a tripwire, causing a bunch of bottles to tumble and make a loud noise. Hearing this, she urgently tells her children to run. At the same time, we see someone observing the family with a gun in hand. The noise of the falling bottles attracts an alien, and it charges towards them. Unfortunately, while trying to escape, Marcus steps on a metal trap and badly injures his leg. He manages to stay quiet for a while, but when he notices his injured foot, he lets out a scream. Realizing the danger, Regan quickly uses her amp, microphone, and cochlear hearing aid to generate a loud noise. In the first movie, we got to know that this is the alien's weakness, as they hate high-frequency noises. As this alien screams in pain, Evelyn shoots it in the head, finishing it off. Their real weakness is getting their heads blown off. The family then rushes into a nearby abandoned building and continues to run, because another alien has arrived at the scene. Suddenly, the guy who was keeping an eye on them grabs Evelyn, covers her mouth with his hand, and signals them to follow him. They move around a corner as the man guides them to a soundproof bunker and locks the door. A towel over the latch dampens the noise and prevents the door from locking from the outside. That's gonna go wrong later. The bunker is both sound and airproof, and there is plenty of oxygen to last for 1 hour. Once they are safe, the guy explains that the family can't stay because there isn't enough food or water. When Evelyn hears his voice, she immediately recognizes him and calls him Emmett. The man responds by revealing his face, removing his scarf and baseball cap. That's not Emmett, that's Oppenheimer. Oh no, he is indeed Emmett. When Evelyn asks about his children, he sadly reveals that both his boys died on day 1. He also mentions that his wife died 11 weeks ago due to a sickness. Puzzled, Evelyn asks why he didn't come for them since they were friends. In reply, Emmett explains that after losing his own family, he didn't have the strength to go and save others. As the conversation goes on, Regan approaches her brother, who is resting after having his ankle treated. She lets him wear headphones and listen to radio white noise while scanning through the frequencies. Marcus becomes alert when he hears music playing on the radio. This implies that someone is sending out a signal from nearby. However, Emmett asserts that it's just the same song being played on repeats and nothing else. Later, Regan uses her father's diary and the map and deduces that the signal is coming from a nearby island, roughly a day's walk away. In the middle of the night, Regan wakes Marcus up, and they go to the soundproof vault to discuss their plan. She tries to persuade Marcus to help her locate the radio tower by following the railway tracks. Regan intends to reach the station so she can use it to broadcast the high-frequency noise generated by her hearing aid, which exposes the alien's vulnerabilities. She believes that this would allow anyone with a radio to play the high-pitched noise and to defend themselves against the aliens, a significant step towards a safer life. The little boy is skeptical of the plan, as he believes that it is too dangerous. However, Regan is determined to give it her all, following in her father's footsteps. Hence, early the next morning, she packs her things and leaves alone. Upon learning that Regan has departed, Evelyn pleads with Emmett to go after her and to bring her back. Without any hesitation, the latter agrees, saying he is not going to let a child die again. In the meantime, Regan stumbles upon a wrecked train and boards the front carriage. Inside, she discovers numerous bones and dead bodies. She also notices a first aid kit in the driver's cabin, but struggles to open it. Eventually, Regan manages to grab the box, but the bones of the deceased driver fall on her, causing her to scream. This noise attracts an alien to the location, and Regan finds herself trapped. Just when it appears as if she is going to meet her demise, Emmett arrives in the nick of time and shoots the creature dead. Afterward, they seek refuge in a nearby station office to avoid drawing more aliens. Emmett reveals that he has come to take her back home. However, Regan boldly asserts that she isn't returning until she finds the nearby radio station. She explains to Emmett that there was nothing he could do when his wife died, but now there is something they can do to save others. Initially, Emmett refuses to accompany her to the station, but after noticing the little girl's determination, he eventually gives in. Elsewhere, when Evelyn learns that the cylinder's oxygen is about to finish, she decides to leave her children at an abandoned house and look for more supplies. Marcus is terrified and reluctant to let her go, but Evelyn insists that his foot will worsen, and she can't afford to lose him as well. After a while, Evelyn returns to the sand path, retracing the same route her family took to the store on day one when Lee bought oranges. Lee had said, "Aren't you glad I didn't buy apples?" And then he died. She later arrives at the bridge where Bo tragically died and stops at the makeshift shrine there. She caresses the images and places her wedding ring on top of the cross, shedding tears. On the other hand, Marcus leaves the bunker to explore the complex after ensuring the baby is back asleep at their base. As he explores further, he finds a room filled with artwork made by Emmett's sons. Going upstairs, he encounters a partially decomposed body, likely Emmett's wife, hidden behind some curtains in a part of the room. This discovery startles him, causing him to accidentally knock some objects over, alerting a nearby alien to his presence. Afraid, Marcus rushes back to the basement, retrieves the baby, and places him in the soundproof vault. He then goes back out to grab the stopwatch and radio. As the alien approaches, he somehow manages to enter the vault and close the door. Unbeknownst to Marcus, the towel is not covering the latch. I knew it. And the door gets locked from outside. As evening falls, Emmett and Regan reach a harbor in search of a boat to take them to the island. Surprisingly, at the end of a bridge, they encounter a young girl crying. When Emmett approaches her to offer help, out of nowhere, the little girl puts a noose around his neck. After this, a group of feral individuals emerge and capture Emmett. They search Regan for supplies and confiscate her hearing aid before leading her away. At this point, Emmett realizes that they are in deep trouble, so he thinks of a risky plan. He signals the little girl to dive into the water and then frees himself from the netting. After this, he deliberately starts shouting and also beats up the man who stole Regan's hearing aid. As expected, the commotion attracts the attention of the aliens, who attack the harbor, resulting in the deaths of several men. An alien approaches Emmett, who is still holding the man, but somehow he manages to jump into the water, leaving the evil guy to the creature. When the alien hears Emmett in the water, it dives inside, but struggles and eventually drowns due to its inability to swim. It can't even doggy paddle. What an idiot. This makes Emmett realize that the creatures have another weakness. In the next scene, the two find a boat and jump on board. Emmett gives Regan back her hearing aid, which she managed to hold inside of his mouth. Ooh, I wonder what that tasted like. After removing all the ropes, they steer the boat towards the island. Meanwhile, an alien is shown stuck on top of a boat that is detached from the docks. Back at the base, Marcus is struggling to breathe and realizes that he needs to open the door. He tries his best, but fails and eventually gives up in despair. At the same time, when he unlocks the baby's trunk, he finds the infant crying. With no other option, he shares his oxygen with the baby until it finally falls asleep. Meanwhile, Evelyn returns to the base and she hears a loud screech from an alien. Terrified, she immediately puts her life at risk to save her children. Evelyn attempts to blow up the alien with an oxygen tank, but it escapes unharmed. The explosion, however, triggers the activation of the fire sprinklers. Guided by the sound of the sprinklers, Evelyn manages to navigate past the alien and return to the basement. In the next scene, Regan and Emmett reach the island and discover a colony of people who have isolated themselves and are leading relatively normal lives. Emmett converses with a man who explains that the National Guard was dispatched to the islands as soon as the authorities realized the monsters couldn't swim. The following morning, when Emmett goes to the seashore, he notices a wrecked boat there. It is the same one that had the alien on it. Terrified, he rushes to inform the people about it, but it's too late. The creature chases people and goes on a rampage, killing several of them. After saving a little baby boy. Emmett and Regan, along with the unnamed man, successfully make their way to the radio station. They also manage to lure the creature behind them with the help of the car horn. Unfortunately, when they are inside the station, the alien grabs the island guy's leg through an opening and pulls him outside. Unable to help them, the remaining two rush toward the broadcasting station. But their problems don't end there. The stubborn creature follows them and even manages to injure Emmett with its claws. However, as it pursues Regan, she manages to play her hearing aid sound in the station. This emits a loud, high-pitched frequency, weakening the creature. Taking full advantage of this opportunity, Regan kills it with a metal pole, while Emmett, who is injured and sitting against the wall, witnesses her heroism. Damn, that was some heroism, he says. Back at the base, the alien is attacking Evelyn, who is holding the baby. Right then, the same frequency plays on the radio. Marcus picks up the transmission and uses it to weaken the alien before shooting it dead with Evelyn's revolver. In the final scene, Regan removes the metal pole from the alien's body and smiles. She then leaves her hearing aid on the station's microphone, allowing anyone to use the frequency and kill the aliens. Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.